Hello, my name is Niles Hemming, and I will be doing my final presentation on the 2006 film Children of Men, directed by Alfonso Cuarón. Children of Men takes place in a not so distant future, but at the time of this release in 2006, it was pretty much 20 years um, ahead of the future, pretty much. Um, the world itself is, on the brink of collapse. Great Britain has turned into this police state and this sanctuary for um, immigrants who are seeking asylum, um, because their countries, portrayed by the British media in the film, the totalitarian British media, is has pretty much collapsed. And the film centers around these two characters of Theo and Key and other various characters, but Theo and Key are the two characters that pretty much move the film along, um, and basically Key is recruited. I'm sorry, Theo is recruited by this terrorist group called the Fishes, and they ask him to basically help Key escape the chaos in Great Britain. It's directed by Alfonso Cuarón, and as you can see, um, some of the well-known titles that you may find recognizable that he's directed. Again, distributed by Universal Pictures. The film was also nominated for 3 Academy Awards: Best Film Editing, Best um, Adapted Screenplay. It's adapted by the book The Children of Men by P.D. James, and Best Cinematography by Emmanuel Lubezki. The semantics and syntax in this film obviously are well known. It's a dystopian film um, that reveals that the world is basically under control by a totalitarian Great Britain, and anarchy is involved within the um, the activists who are portrayed by the British media, totalitarian British media, as a terrorist group, and they choose anarchy, pretty much, to tear down Great Britain. Um, there's an extreme class divide between rich and poor, and again, it's set in the near, quote unquote, near future, because um, it's 2021 today, and it's not that far away. But fortunately, infertility has not occurred um, within this world yet. Um, and then, obviously, it's the mishandling of it's the humans' mishandling of the natural order of things. What would happen if humans interfered with the reproduction of other human beings? Um, and there's that question that comes along, and so it's kind of a warning side to man's future. Um, how man has not so much um, decreased the population of human beings, but in human civilization, but the fact of overpopulating it. Because in the book, they talk about overpopulation. Um, they talk about um, pollution, how people the population has polluted the earth. But you don't really see, um, how people become infertile in this film. It's kind of left out. Um, the Children of Men is a cautionary tale of the future. It reflects and criticizes the society that was going on in 2006. We were living in a post 9/11 world. The government started um, not only tapping in on spies or known terrorists, but they started tapping in on everybody's phone calls. They used the FISA courts to basically be able to do that, and and then you also had, you know, xenophobic, I'm sorry, xenophobia occurring within, you know, within the Muslim minority groups, um, and you know, Middle Easterns. Um, but in this film, it's more of government state control. The population is being controlled by the government, um, and what comes in, it's obviously, you know, you've seen in the photo, it's they're caged up like animals, and global warming is not really within. It's not really reflected in this film, but um, it's still kind of a message, because as the population grows, the um, the environmental footprint increases, and so um, even though global warming is left out, it's not, you know, revealed in this film. It's still kind of a factor that plays in within our future. And then obviously there's the extreme class divides. You know, if you look in one of the photos, you see the flying pig. It's reference to Pink Floyd's one of Pink Floyd's albums, and it reveals um, how the upper class, how someone who knows somebody else in the upper class uh, can be able to obtain whatever they want just because they know that person. And so it reveals power in a way. It reveals the power within government and within society. In regards to representation in for gender, you know, the lead role is, it's male dominated. It's a cisgender male dominated lead role. But there are cisgender female characters who are portrayed as progressive and outspoken. And I think that's the future of I mean it's been the future. It's already here, but that's what Julian represents with, you know, as the future of women, ambitious for any cause of all human beings who are pro political, and then you see the future of men. It exposes, you know, their lack of ambition, lack of political action, shows a pessimistic future. But you also have, you know, a male-dominated casted film. You know, you see a lot of the most of the characters in the film are male. If you watch it, it's mostly people who are fighting within the war, and then you know, within the within the political activist group known as the Fishes, they were mostly men, and then the, you know, the soldiers, you know, within the British soldiers within the film as well, who are mostly men. There's barely any women, you know, involved in the fight, um, and then, you know, you also have families, you know, being in the middle of this fight. Um, in regards to race, minorities are becoming the new majority. Um, Obviously, it goes back to class. You know, most of the majority, I would say, is white. Um, but I think the minorities are becoming the new majority because of the increase within population of immigrants and their migration issues. It displays the future of race wars within countries or within groups in a country. But it's also a hybrid buddy film. If you think about it, the black female and the white male key is, you know, is African, and then Theo's white, and so there's that hybrid buddy thing going on with the two characters where they help each other out, but one prevails and one doesn't. Um, it continues on, but the film continues on to be somewhat culturally inappropriate. You look at the photo in the right hand corner there with the dreadlocks. Charlie, I think that's his name, Charlie Huntsman. Anyways, but Theo and Julian's, they have a white savior moment. They're trying to help other minorities out. They're trying to help Key out, escape. And of course, that interracial buddy concept with Key and Theo. It's a fish out of water sci-fi as well. And then there's the white guilt. But the bigger point here is Key's African roots shown as an historical irony. Humans came from Africa, so ironically, her roots are continuing on the legacy of human civilization. In regards to class warfare, there's a battle between the upper class and the lower class. The middle class is diminished, and there's a fascist regime occurring in Great Britain. There's belligerent and aggressive political activism, a thriving and apathetic capitalists and aristocrats. Theo's cousin, for example, is shown to be apathetic with what's going on. He doesn't care. All he cares is about money. That's it. There are migrant revolts, and then there's the military-industrial complex of use of power, as you see in the left-hand corner. And then there's income inequality. Obviously, people who are government workers, they're still thriving, but they're not so much in the middle class. They're more of like a little upper class. But then you have this disproportion happening within the immigrants who can't find a job. They're struggling. They're trying to survive. And so that's my viewpoint on that. Then there's that question of how did he get this baby? So genetic engineering comes along within this technology presence, and we're on the brink of the post-human society in a way, but not so far. Probably in the beginning, but you see a lot of advanced security systems, hybrid transportation systems, progress in computer technology, interactive gadgets, and there's non-artificial intelligence occurring, except in the scene with Theo's cousin's son, who is playing with a little gizmo. Then you have the impact in canon of Children of Men. You have secularism. Sorry if I butchered that. Messiah is a plural. The disenchantment versus reenchantment. Technology and science. That question of technology and science more valuable than religion. And then you see the rise of neoliberalism and neoconservatism in the film. The symbolism referencing the society and culture, which basically reflects the current situation with border relations. And it's also a reflection of a not so distant future. The Arab Spring was a good example. And the question comes to mind is that, are we able to live with each other here on this planet Earth? Are we able to help each other out? And I think that's the impact that Children of Men has left, because, we are one race, human race, but we come in different cultures, backgrounds, skin color, and Children of Men has left an impact on how we should be handling and not mishandling the world itself. Thank you, and this is my bibliography, and thank you for listening.